The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network. What is up, everybody? Welcome inside to a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends, top right-hand corner of the screen right there, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. We're going to do what we always do on this show. We're going to recap last night's action. We had a lot of good games go down, a lot of things to talk about. We'll definitely do that. And then we have a player profile to feature from today's show, and we're going to go venture into Springfield and their girls basketball program. Jamaica Brungard will be featured on today's show, one of their seniors, and a really important piece, of course, to not just their basketball team, their volleyball team as well. I had a chance to catch up with her, so we'll get a player profile featured from Jamaica Brungard, and then we will, of course, preview the night that is coming up on the network tonight. So let's get right to the action. Let's go into the scoreboard on ysnlive.com. The scoreboard is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you're at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the action for too long. And the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live updated scores from your favorite teams across the YSN family. Whether it be your heated rivals or your best friends, there's no better place to hear what's going on than the YSN scoreboard. The YSN scoreboard can be found at ysnlive.com/scores, and it is proudly presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's get to it. Monday, January 13th, 2025. We'll start with boys basketball. And Lordstown, they travel to Bloomfield, get the big win, almost doubling up Bloomfield, 66-35, the final score there. In La Brea, the Vikings starting to get healthy, and they're gearing up for a big one up next with Garfield, as the Vikings hit the big win, 63-29 at home over Crestview. Speaking of Garfield, they fell in a very close one to Brookfield, 66-63, the final score there. Freshman phenom Blake Hammond with 30 points for the Warriors in that game. That was the first conference loss for Garfield of the season. Also, second loss overall. They've been having a really good year, but they're going to go into this matchup with La Brea on Thursday with two teams that are coming off of different results. La Brea domination against Crestview. Garfield getting a little bit of an upset with a road game against Brookfield. So Garfield really's got to bounce back, because it doesn't get any easier when you're talking about defending La Brea and the action they can bring you. So Garfield at La Brea Thursday, that'll be a fun one as they vie for the top spot in the MVAC. We go to East Liverpool. They finally got this game in against Harrison Central. Took them a while with all the snow last weekend, but they made it worth the wait as the Potters grind down the Huskies 62-43, the final score in that one. Champion, they fall to Newton Falls 75-41, final score there. And then Southeast traveling to Liberty, and it is Southeast that gets the big win, 58-30 inside the MVAC. All those teams back in action on Thursday. We go to girls basketball in Wyndham. Grand Valley makes the trip, and they get the win, 53-13 final score there. McDonald also makes a trip to Lowville, and it's a close one, but McDonald gets the road victory, 43-37 the final score. Columbiana and East Palestine. Columbiana continues to just dominate the EOAC, 59-3 final score for the Clippers. We talk about Wellsville Valley Christian. Wellsville gets the win, 38-21 on the road at Valley Christian. Wycliffe and Orange. It is Wycliffe that knocks off the Lions, 52-20 the final score. Hubbard at home after their big win against Poland over the weekend. Gerard comes in, cools them down a bit, 39-30. Indians get the win inside the NE8. Speaking of NE8, Struthers, well, you know what? Just another monkey wrench in the NE8. They win on a buzzer beater. Gianna Martin gets it to fall right before the buzzer. 45-43, they beat Lakeview inside the field house. We will recap what the NE8 looks like in a little bit, but it just got a little bit wackier. South Range, they get the win over Niles, 47-37, the final score there. CC Foster with a career-high 21 points, including 5 threes. She went off Gwen Lowry with 11, and they hold off the Dragons by 10 points. Beaver on the road, they go to Hampton and get the win 48-24. Final score in that one. Campbell Memorial at home, they fall to Sebring 32-27. We go to East Liverpool. They were on the road against Steubenville, and they fall to the Big Red 46-22, the final score in that one. Edgewood, they got this game moved against Madison. It'll now be happening February 17th. That's going to be one of the last games of the year. West Branch goes to Boardman. Their defense does its job, 40-29. The Warriors get the win. They have won 6 in a row now after their first loss and only loss, by the way, this season at Austintown Fitch. They bounce back nicely. They're on a 6-game win streak. Back in the conference on Wednesday, they will be at Alliance. West Branch was led by Audrey Eaton in double figures with 10 points. But they had a pretty good balanced offense. Carter Shepard, Ellie Tucker both chip in. Plenty of good performances as well. So West Branch still rolling. Canfield on the road at Massillon, Washington gets their first loss of the season. And Massillon, Washington, we've seen them before. They were at the South Range Holiday Hoops Tournament. They just are very talented, and they proved it. They get the big win over Canfield, 64-37. The final score there. First team to score that many points against Canfield all year. That defense for Canfield, good. But when you're playing players that can make their own shot off the dribble, you're going to have a tough time. And Delaney Pierce and Linnea Moore, both with just abilities to create their own shot. You know, they don't have to catch and shoot. They can just drive right to the hoop. Delaney Pierce has the great driving ability, and Moore is really good inside. There's just too many weapons to deal with for the Tigers to play, to really shut them down. And the Tigers prove it again. Poland and Salem. Poland gets the win in the defensive matchup, 39-34. They were up by as much as 14 in this game. Salem tried to make a second-half comeback, just couldn't quite hit enough shots to do it. But they were led by a game-high 18 points from Reese Davidson-Chuck. She had a huge game. Not enough for Poland, though, because Poland gets the win. They were balanced in their offense. Lucy Harrell led them with 11. Kate Harrell had 10. Generalovich and Bocheri both score quite a few points as well, 7 and 5 respectively. So Poland gets the win. They rely on their defense to do it like they usually do inside that Poland field house. We go to Southern Local. They're at home against Latonia. They get the big win, 52-18. That's a big job for the Indians. United back to winning. They get a win over Lisbon, 33-19, the final score there. Reagan Good and Maley Smith combined for 25 points. Good with 13. Smith with 12. A freshman phenom for United, still having a great season. Maley Smith still putting up big numbers. And the Eagles feel good back winning. They'll be at home on Wednesday in the non-conference against Sandy Valley. Middle Ridge traveled to Jackson Milton. They continue their conquest of the MVAC. They get the win 65-24. Final score in that one. Western Reserve goes to Springfield, and they get the win. I mean, I should say Springfield gets the win 43. Sorry. This is timeout. Pause button. 43-41. The final score. Springfield edges out Western Reserve and then stays in the hunt for the conference championship, right? So Springfield still with one loss. They're trying to keep pace with Middle Ridge into that second matchup between those two in Middle Ridge later on this season. Chalker goes to Pontoon Valley, and the Lakers get the win 48-37. Final score in that one. Mooney at home against East. They get the win 40-28. You have St. John traveling to Fairport Harding, and that game we did not get a score updated in. So if you are out there and you know that score, please let us know. Mohawk at home, they fall to Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, 61-13. Last but not least, Lakeside and Willoughby South did not report a score for that game. So unfortunately, could not complete the scoreboard, but we can only do so much. We are only human. We have to have the data reported, or we're going to be in a tight spot. Like that scene in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou that always makes me laugh. I think it's the funniest part in the whole movie when they're running out of the shed, and dang, we're in a tight spot. But on that note, let's go off the scoreboard and talk about the ever so crazy NE8 that has become even more kind of crazy after last night. Do you expect anything different? I mean, this is such a competitive conference. Every team is just kind of just as good as the other. There's no easy night. There's no night when you think this team's a powerhouse. They're going to steamroll the other one. And last night, one game after Lakeview gets a gift from Hubbard, right? Say, hey, we beat Poland. You're in first place now by yourself. Struthers, like the Grinch that stole Christmas, comes in and just takes the gift and runs away with it. In the middle of the night, Gianna Martin comes in like the Grinch, takes that gift they just got for the first place spot, and books it back to the top of the mountain in Whoville. So now you look at this NE8. 2 losses is the top of the conference. Poland there, right? 2 losses. Hubbard and Struthers. You have Girard there now. Lakeview's now there. It has become a logjam again at the top of the conference. So everything all wacky. As we look at the prospects of the NE8, you have a big one in the field house on Thursday. Poland will be going there. And Poland obviously lost to Struthers at home a few weeks ago. So now you have Poland technically in front with Lakeview only because they've played more games than Girard. They're both 4-2. Girard 3-2. South Range gets back in the hunt. They're 3-3, so they can make a move now because they have matchups with Girard, Lakeview, and Poland still on their schedule. They're right there, and they can keep pace. So is Struthers. They're 3-3. So you got 5 teams that are within 1 game of each other now. 3 of them tied at the top. 2 of them 1 game back with matchups against every team still left on their schedule. This is going to be fun. And here we go. What's going to be in store? Who do you think is going to win the NE8? I want to know. Leave a comment in the comment section if you guys have a feeling of who it's going to be. Is it going to be Poland finding a way and keeping up that tradition of winning the NE8? Is someone going to finally dethrone the Bulldogs? The funny thing about this, and I said this yesterday on the show, it might come down to Poland Lakeview, and if it does, they play twice in 3 days because of the game they got moved because of the snow day last Monday. So they'll play Lakeview at Poland on Thursday, and then not this Thursday, but on a Thursday. And then they will have the Friday, and then Saturday they play at Lakeview. So if it comes down to those two, then it will be a wild 3 days to decide it. And then Poland after that still has South Range. South Range is their last league matchup. So even if they get through Lakeview twice, they're not out of the woods. And looking at the standings, the way this season's going, I doubt they're going to be up by 2 games going into that game. That game at South Range in the Thriller Dome, where they lost last year, is going to be probably a must-win game for Poland if they want a conference championship. If they come out of that big stretch against Lakeview and Lakeview back-to-back, still in front of the NE8. It's going to be fun, guys. I'm loving this. I'm loving the wildness of the NE8 because for years it has just been 2 teams really dominating it and with a race to the finish. I mean, for the first 5 years, South Range and Poland only losses in the conference were to each other, right? And then there were a couple of games here and there where a team would knock them off. Girard beats Poland at home a couple of years ago, big win for them. Struthers knocks off Poland a couple of years ago. Big win but now all of a sudden we're seeing a spot in this conference where every team is right there. The gap has closed, and now it's just coming down to who can be more consistent and who can make the game-winning plays more often than not. And right now, it's still been Poland and Lakeview at that top spot. Mind you, they've had one more game than Girard, so they're still win percentage wise in that top spot with a 4-2 record, Girard with 3-2. But man, props to Struthers because coming off of the tough loss to Niles on last Thursday, 54-19, they dropped it to Niles. They come right back at home against one of the top teams in the conference, and they knock them off. And that win kept them in the hunt because if they fall there, they're 2-4. All of a sudden, if they would have lost that game, Girard would be alone in first place right now with 1 loss. Lakeview would be alone in first place now with 1 loss, and Struthers would be 2-4. That's 3 games down. That's a big swing to go from 3 games down to 1 game back for Struthers. Monumental win for the Wildcats and a way to bounce back from that win, right? Because they lost in a very just gut punch way, like 54-19 on the road against Niles. Every coach in the NE8 was just like, can't believe that happened. Can't believe Niles was able to just dominate that game, because we haven't seen a lot of games at all that have been dominating this season. So no matter who's playing, you're kind of surprised if a score ends up that lopsided. So everyone was kind of watching that score and making sure it was correct because they couldn't really believe it. So right after that, the game after that, Struthers comes back out at home, and they make the plays down the stretch to beat the team that was in the lead. They were in the lead in the NE8. They had their lone spot, and they beat them on a buzzer beater. Props to Gianna Martin for putting it in. The hero of the night for Struthers. And the Wildcats, like I said, still in the hunt. So is South Range. They're both 1 game back with every team to play. South Range's game against Niles last night was the last one in the first round of NE8 play. You play 6 teams twice, so 3-3 in the first round. They will go into the second round of NE8 play, 1 game back. Same thing with Struthers, 1 game back with the whole second round of NE8 play to go. Girard is the only team in that 5 that's just missing that 1 game before they start the second round of NE8 play again. Let me check to see who they have left to play once real quick. Girard, let's see. I don't know who they're missing because they have to play Lakeview, I think, twice still. No, Lakeview has to play Poland twice. Who's Gerard missing with that 3-2 record? Let's see. Oh, they haven't put in. Okay, they haven't listed the Hubbard score. So Gerard is actually 4-2 with Lakeview and Poland. So I apologize there. They just didn't lock in the standings to on the website to last night's win over Hubbard. So Gerard, Lakeview, and Poland all with 4-2 records. Struthers and South Range with 3-3. The first half of the NEA play is officially under wraps. Second half, 5 teams with a legitimate shot at it. And with the way it's going, I'm not even counting out Hubbard and Niles. I'm not, because they are 2 games back. And the way it's going, you could win this conference with 4 losses. If they have a perfect second half of the NE8, who knows how that goes. So I'm not counting those teams out by any stretch of the imagination, the way this conference is going. But you could very well win this conference with 3 or 4 conference losses. And not because it's bad basketball, right? These teams are good. They're just all kind of evenly matched. I like it. I love seeing it. I love seeing the bar be raised. Kind of like it's like what we're seeing in SEC football. There were dominant teams for years, and then the gap kind of closed a little bit. That we saw new teams kind of make their moves, and now the SEC is so parity driven that they beat each other up. And that's what we've kind of got in the NE8 girls basketball right now. They've all finally raised the bar to get even with these teams that have been kind of running the show the last 6 years. Gotta love it. We're gonna take a commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk to another player that is kind of used to being in the top tier of a conference in Springfield. They're fighting for a first place spot. They have 1 loss in the league. They're trying to keep pace with Middle Ridge. Jamaica Brungard will be the player profile featured on today's show. That's coming up next on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll be back in a little bit.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens. On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Hi, this is Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet, who you just heard from at the end of that commercial break. They go the extra mile for you. We heard about what that means to them and their employees, what it means to us as we try to follow their lead every day, is sharing the player profiles, the coaches' corners, the interviews that we get from everyone in these wonderful communities out with you guys. We try to do that every single day. And we try to strive to go the extra mile, just like our great sponsors, Greenwood Chevrolet. So we're going to continue that today with Jamaica Brungard from Springfield, one of the seniors in the senior class that has really been the best. You could argue the best senior class that Springfield's ever seen. They have taken this program to new heights. They've gone further than any Springfield girls basketball program has. They have played more games as a senior class than any other senior class in the YSN family. They've gone to regionals 3 times in a row and 1 trip to state. So they have added all those games into their utility belt coming into this year. They are experienced and they know how to win ball games. They're chasing Middle Ridge, trying to keep pace with the Rams. Lost to them by 5 points earlier in the season, but that's the only conference loss for the Tigers. So they're trying to just keep pace with the Rams. And when that second matchup comes up, they are ready for it. So Jamaica Brungard, a big reason why they are successful, someone that is able to do so much on the basketball court, and I had a great chance to talk with her earlier this season. So here is her player profile on YSN. Hope you enjoy it. Hartwig here with a Springfield girls basketball player profile. I don't think this player needs much introduction. She's been the centerfold of the YSN Springfield coverage for a long time, and it's Jamaica Brungard coming to us again for another player profile. Jamaica, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us again this year.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now you are probably one of the more experienced players in the whole YSN family. You guys have played deep into the tournament every year. You've gone to at least the regional finals. Talk about what it's like to kind of have all that experience and to be able to lean on it this year in your last run.
Yeah, it definitely gives us a lot of motivation, but at the same time, it kind of gives us a lot of pressure at the same time because we've been there so many times. It's like kind of expected that we go back, but the experience is good, like knowing that we know how to play in those situations.
I mean, when you're playing these teams that are trying to chase you, do you feel that pressure of everyone trying to be that one that knocks you off?
Yeah, definitely. Every time like somebody like beats us, it's kind of like a big deal, I guess.
And yet in the league, you are still running high and inside the MVAC. Let's talk about, some of the goals that you set for yourself inside this season and what you wanted to kind of get accomplished this year.
Yeah, definitely winning the league again and winning another district championship and hopefully making it pretty far in the run again.
This question kind of scary for people to play you, but we always see you get better every year. What ways do you think you've gotten better this year? What parts of the game do you think you've grown in this season?
I think that it's like my range of where I can play in the court. I'm not just like very down in the post now. I'm trying to like, dribble the ball more and be like kind of like more of a guard at some times.
So let's talk about this senior season. It's your last go around, last chance. What's it been like to kind of deal with the emotions that senior year brings?
It's been fun, but it's been a little sad at the same time, like knowing that like this is the last time, but it's been really fun.
I think every senior handles things a little bit differently. Has it set in yet that you're a senior? Have you kind of felt it yet, or do you think that it probably won't hit you until you get to like your last couple games at home?
I think I've like came to the conclusion like yeah, it's my senior year, but I'm trying not to think about it that much and just like trying to take it like one game at a time.
How much did going through a senior season already in volleyball kind of help you navigate what it feels like to be a senior in a sport?
I think it just made me like kind of motivate me a little bit to like work harder because like I said, like this is the last time. So just like working harder.
So when we talk about a senior year, not just on the court, but also in the classroom, we talk to a lot of seniors. Some of them have, set themselves up to kind of have a coast-worthy senior season with a lot of hard classes taken care of. Where do you sit in the classroom? Do you still have some tough classes to get done, or do you have most of that hard work taken care of your first 3 years?
Yeah, I really don't have any classes this year, hardly at all.
What's that like as a player to kind of have 1 year where you don't have to really, stress too much about school anymore and you can really just lock in on basketball?
It's like kind of good but kind of bad because I feel like my whole day I just kind of like sit around. But it's nice that I don't have to like go home and like worry about like getting assignments done or like staying up late and stuff like that.
You're sitting around all day. What do you do to kind of get yourself in that routine now that you don't have the whole school day where you're kind of focused on something else that isn't basketball?
I don't really know. I'm just kind of there. I'm just like on my go during school, so I guess not really anything.
At the start of the season, did you find it like tough to get in that mental mindset, or do you think when you showed up at the gym it was same old when the senior season?
Yeah, I think it was just pretty much like the same.
And then when we talk about just the things that you've accomplished, you're going to graduate, you're going to get that diploma, you're going to reflect on everything you've done at Springfield, whether it be on the court, on the volleyball team, on the basketball team, wherever it may be, or in the classroom. What are some things that you think that you've done that you're really proud of yourself for being able to accomplish?
Well, I think number one is just like being a part of like the team, like our basketball team in these last couple of years. And like we made like school history. So I feel like that was like a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, when we talk about this basketball program that you're a part of, you guys have gone further than any other basketball team has ever gone, and you've done it multiple times. You're setting the standard for the teams of the next couple of years. What are you as a senior class doing to try to, let that bar sit there so the leaders of the next, couple of years can take it and there's no kind of void when you guys graduate?
I would just say like trying our best just to like lead by example, like during practices and games and stuff, just like showing them like the way like it works and like how we do things.
When we talked to you a couple of years ago, we asked you what leaders you were looking up to. And now here we are talking to you your senior season and where you're the leader now that's being looked up to. What's it like to be that role model, to be the guy, the girl that everyone's kind of looking to kind of for that leadership to mold their game after?
I think that it feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like just kind of like being like on top and like having like experience under my belt.
Here's the other thing I want to ask about. This is not new because you've been the centerfold of this girls basketball team for at least the last couple of years, but definitely this year, you're the one that everyone circles when they're playing you. You're the person that everyone says we have to slow down if we want a chance to beat Springfield. What's it like to go into every game knowing that you're going to be the one that gets a lot of the attention?
Yeah, it's kind of annoying sometimes. Like, I don't know, like getting double teamed and stuff. It like tires me out. But at the same time, I feel like it's almost like when we do win or when I do have like the opportunity like to score and stuff, that it just makes it like double like the rewarding, I guess, like more rewarding.
When teams focus so much on you, it opens up things for your teammates, and we've seen you guys take advantage of that already this season. What's it like to be to grow as you go on into a player that is okay with that. They can say, hey, if they're taking me away, my teammates are going to score, and that's okay with me. You know, we see a lot of players that have the ability that you do. They get frustrated when they can't, go and get their points. But when you happen, you're more than happy to get it to your teammates. So what's that been like for you to go on that journey and to grow to a player that can be okay with that?
I just think that it just has like a big deal to do with like my teammates. Like I can trust them that they will make the right decisions and make the right plays. Like when I do kick out the ball or when I don't have an opening, just like trusting them and knowing that they're able to like make things happen.
I want to talk about this senior class because you guys have been playing together for a long time, and we've already talked about how much experience the senior class has in the tournament. What's it been like to just grow with these girls that are in your senior class and to go through this last year with them?
It's been amazing. Like they're like my best friends. So I feel like just since we were playing, like since we were little to now, like and just seeing like all the growth and everything that we've accomplished, it's just been so rewarding.
Jamaica, we have to talk about the future. We don't want to see you graduate. We want to see you graduate, but we don't want to see you leave. We would love to keep you here forever, but that's the reality. You got to move on to the next chapter of life. What are some things that you have in your future? What are some goals that you have after you graduate?
So I don't think I'm gonna play in college, but I definitely do want to go to college and get an education. I think I'm gonna go into like dental hygiene, and I don't know where yet, but.
What made you want to pursue dental hygiene? What stuck out about that career path?
Well, I'm taking a class on like careers, and like that's one that like popped up, and it has like I don't know, it's just good options. And I wanted to be in the medical field, but I didn't want to be a nurse, so I feel like that was like the next best option.
And I know you probably juggled for a while whether or not you wanted to play a sport in college with the success you've been having, and I'm sure you were on coach's radar, throughout your career. What made it clear to you that just wasn't for you and that wasn't something that you were going to pursue?
I don't know. I kind of just feel like I need to find like a new purpose in life, like because I know I'm not gonna have sports for the rest of my life, and I just think that like now I'm just like ready to be done with it.
Now we know, even though if you're not playing, you can't turn that competitive nature off. So what are some things that you think that are going to take over that competitive part of you that you're going to be, competing with now?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out, but I don't know.
Get into some open gyms and dominate in the rec league, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some things that you find special about your family. I know we've asked you about your family before, and it's obviously a big name in Springfield, whether we talk about your cousin on the volleyball team with you with Balin and obviously Bo and what he was able to do at Springfield and this whole name that you guys have carried throughout the Springfield community. What's it like to be a part of this family? Give us again what makes it unique and what makes it special to you.
I feel like it's a lot of pressure at times, but I don't know. I just feel like I was able to like hopefully carry on the name well. Yeah, I don't really know.
I think it's safe to say that you've carried that name pretty well. And if you ever felt pressure, you never showed it. One of the things I love about watching you play basketball is you're so loose on the floor. You're always having fun. Talk about what it takes to keep that mindset and take things seriously, of course, but also have fun on the floor and be loose and not take everything so seriously.
I think that it was just like kind of like a mental block to get over because I didn't always like used to be like that. I always used to be like stressed and get down on myself, but I just kind of had to learn that it's at the end of the day I should be having fun with it and it shouldn't be like that serious. So like just like be loose and have fun. It's like better than playing like
we got to ask you about Coach Matisse one more time too. I mean, what's it been like to share this journey with him and to be, under his coaching for the last 4 years?
Yeah, it's been such an honor, really. I don't think I could ask for a better coach, nor would I ever want a different coach. So.
What are you going to miss the most about Coach Matisse when you graduate?
He's just a funny guy. He just says some crazy, funny things all the time, and he laughs sometimes. So I'll probably miss that the most.
I want to see this Coach Matisse sense of humor I keep hearing about because he is so straight faced on the floor when he's coaching. I got to get to a Springfield practice or something and see this sense of humor we hear about. Jamaica, we want to end this profile the same way we do every time. We want to give you the chance to take the limelight off yourself for a little bit and shine on the people in your life that have been there for you, that support you. Want to give you the time to send out your shout outs and thank yous.
Yeah, I'd probably say thanks to my mom and dad the most, and then to my teammates, and then my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, and just like kind of everybody.
Okay, we can't forget because we're doing this interview before Christmas, so you get the pleasure of having the Christmas themed questions. What's your favorite Christmas movie out there?
Oh, hands down, The Grinch.
That's the second one we've had today with The Grinch. It's getting some tallies. All right, what about the song? What's your favorite Christmas song?
Probably Mistletoe by Justin Bieber.
All right, and then we'll end it with what's the best Christmas gift you think you've ever received?
I would say like a pair of shoes. Like I got like a cool pair of
I'm
shoes.
not even going to ask how many shoes you have. You just give off the shoe nut vibe. Jamaica, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it so much. Wish you the best of luck the rest of the senior season. We hope it goes as far as it possibly can, and we look forward to talking again real soon. That was Jamaica Brungard from Springfield, and once again, can't say enough about that senior class and what they've done for Springfield. And Jamaica's been kind of the headliner, but they've all put in the work. They've all kind of done exactly what everyone has asked them to in that program. And they're one of the reasons why Springfield is kind of one of the premier girls basketball teams in the area right now. Let's hop into the scoreboard to talk about tonight's action and preview what we got going on a Tuesday. We'll start with girls basketball, MVAC action on Tuesdays, as well as a couple of makeup games from the EOAC. We have Crestview going to be at LaBrea. This is a first place matchup. Both teams undefeated in the conference. First time they've met this year. So a battle for first place going on in Leavittsburg tonight. We have East Palestine and Wellsville. This will be a girls-boys doubleheader. They are making up a game from earlier in the season on the girls' side, so they've made it into a boys-girls DH. Garfield going to Brookfield tonight. Take on the Warriors. Newton Falls will travel the champion, and we'll have Southeast at Liberty. On the boys' side, we have Bloomfield traveling to Maplewood. Chalker will be at Pymatuning Valley. Lordstown goes to Badger. Edgewood going on the road to face Perry. We have Salem at Poland. Fitch will be at Howland. Canfield goes to Warren JFK. Mooney goes to East. Cheney will be at Ursuline. Grand Valley will be at Wyndham. You have Hubbard at Girard. Indian Creek at East Liverpool. Latonia will be traveling to Valley Christian. McDonald on the road against Lowville. Middle Ridge travels to Jackson Milton. Mogador will be coming into Waterloo. We have St. John will be at Warren Harding. Sebring will be on the road at Camel. South Range travels to Niles. Southern will be at Lisbon. We have Struthers will be going on the road to Lakeview. United goes to Columbiana. Warren Harding will be on the road at Boardman. Why is Warren Harding on here twice? That's weird. I think that's supposed to be Fairport Harding. No, yeah, okay. This wrong logo up there against St. John. Threw me off. West Branch will go to Beaver Local. We have Western Reserve at Springfield. Lakeside will be going to Wickliffe. Hoban will be at Warrensville Heights. We have Ambridge. Avonworth. Got my logos mixed up in PA. Avonworth will be going to Beaver. Mohawk will be hosting Freedom Area. Orange travels to Euclid. And then the boys-girls doubleheader with Wellsville and East Palestine. Let's go over what games will be on the network tonight and what announcers will have you covered. Games, as always, can be found at ysnlive.com, and they are completely free in the regular season. So we'll start with boys basketball. Beaver against Avonworth will be covered by Noah Doty. He'll have you covered there. Dom O'Brien will be on the call as Canfield goes to Warren JFK. Chad Paul will have you covered for Pymatuning Valley. They're hosting Chalker. Steve Hodge will be at Ursuline for their matchup with Cheney. The school will have us covered for Perry and Edgewood, so make sure to tune into that one. That's the school's broadcast class taking care of that. Eric Hughes will be at Lowville for their matchup with McDonald. Also, student broadcast at Poland. They'll have you covered as they have all year for boys games with Salem coming into town. Dakota Kotzel will be at Niles for their big conference matchup with South Range. We have Derek Rhodes. He'll be at Columbiana for United at Columbiana. He's taking Joe Eusebio's spot tonight to make sure that big EOAC match is covered. Ty Bartell will be at Boardman as Warren Harding goes to town. You have DJ Oakley. He'll be covering both Wellsville East Palestine games. Those will be, once again, a boy-girl doubleheader. DJ Oakley will have them both on the network for you. Chris Sigler will be at West Branch and Beaver Local tonight, as that's a all-YSN matchup in the Beaver Dome. And then we'll also have East Liverpool in action. Gary Burton and Steve Rogers. I've got my... Not Steve, Scott Rogers. Had Marvel on the brain. Scott Rogers and Gary Burton will have you covered with East Liverpool hosting Indian Creek. On the girls' side, I will be in LeBray for the first place matchup between the Vikings and Rebels. And then DJ Oakley will have you covered for the first part of that boys-girls doubleheader in East Palestine versus Wellsville. So total them up, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games on the network tonight. 15 basketball games. More than anybody else, I guarantee you that. And you can find it all at ysnlive.com/live, and that's where we'll have you covered. If you have any questions, of course, hit us up on social medias. We'll be able to correct that. Hopefully fix whatever technical issue you're having or whatever issue you're having. You can always reach us on the socials. Want to also congratulate Columbiana's Anna Clemmer for winning the Play of the Week this week with her game winner over Mineral Ridge. We salute you. The Vantage YSM Plays of the Week will be having a new badge here pretty soon of plays you can vote on for this week's top 10. But last week's top 10 was won by Columbiana's Anna Clemmer, the buzzer beater to beat Mineral Ridge. What a game that was. What a shot that was. And also, what a transition that was. If you watch that play, you'll realize Columbiana had to come from their own baseline all the way down the court, find a way to get through Venezia, weaving through the defense, finding Clemmer down low, and then the bucket had to be finished. So it all around just epitome of what Columbiana is all about, with just everyone doing their role, their job every night. And because of that, multiple people are rewarded with big nights every night. You never know who's going to step up that particular night and have the game high for Columbiana, which is what makes them so dangerous. So we will keep an eye on Columbiana all season, of course. We will keep an eye on the games tonight, and then we will be back here tomorrow, Wrestling Wednesday, episode 5 with Gary Altizer. We will have a live guest that will be announced tomorrow on social media before the show. So stay tuned for that. Wrestling Wednesday is always fun, and we will have another episode of it with Scotty Mitchell as well on the show tomorrow. You don't want to miss Wednesdays on Running Point. Please do not miss them. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 to 2. Running Point, always brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hartwig. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you all tomorrow.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.